What is your ultimate goal for the governance of Venezuela?
Prisoners that nobody thought they would ever see again are being released, yeah. And in many cases, good people is what I understand. But prisoners nobody ever thought they'd be released. So we're going to be working with them and leadership of the country. And so far, we've been working very well. We're taking billions and billions of dollars worth of oil, and it'll be hundreds of billions of dollars. It'll be trillions of dollars, but we're going to be there till we straighten out the country. We'll see how the country's doing, but we'll be running the oil. We're meeting tomorrow with all of the big oil executives. We're going to be right here in the White House. We're going to meet with the, biggest oil people in the world. They're all coming here. The top 14 companies are coming here. They're going to go in. They're going to rebuild the whole oil infrastructure. They're going to spend at least $100 billion. And it's an unbelievable oil that they have and an unbelievable quality of oil and amount of oil. Well, it wasn't a hard decision. Democrats wanted him and Republicans wanted him, and nobody had what it takes to get him or didn't want to get him. I don't know, something happened, but he killed a lot of people. He sent a lot of bad people into our country. He emptied his prisons into the United States. He emptied his mental institutions and insane asylums into the United States and did a lot of very bad things, but he was a big drug pusher. You see that because all the boats that we shot down, they came out of Venezuela. A lot of drugs. There's a lot of boats and a lot of drugs. There are very few boats operating right now. There's almost no boats. You can't find any boats.
I don't think anyone would go fishing in those
waters. Not a
waters.
lot of people want to go fishing anymore.
The US Senate has passed a resolution which effectively stops Donald Trump taking further military action against Venezuela without seeking permission from Congress first. David Blevins has more.
It is significant from the point of view that it causes some embarrassment for President Trump that 5 Republicans have crossed the floor to vote with Democrats to advance this war powers resolution, the final vote being 52 to 47. What they're attempting to do is to curtail the president's power in terms of further military action in Venezuela or elsewhere, some of them accusing him of operating illegally in terms of the military operation at the weekend to seize President Nicolas Maduro. They're concerned by his talk about Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia and even Greenland. They're concerned that he was speaking about the potential for US boots on the ground, and they're particularly concerned about his comments in relation to the US running Venezuela in the short term, because everything he's had to say about the US dealing with Venezuela's oil reserves does not sound like a short-term operation, and Americans do not want to see their government involved in this for the long term. They want to see their government dealing with domestic matters instead. I think it's important to say that the significance is the embarrassment for President Trump, but there's very little possibility of this actually becoming law. For that to happen, it would have to also be passed by the House of Representatives, and even at that stage, the President has the power to veto it unless they can muster 2/3 majority from both houses on the Hill, and that's not a serious possibility at this time.
Vice President, what is your specific role in the future of Venezuela? And I'm wondering, could you confirm reports that the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was kept out of the planning for the operations because of her past concerns about military involvement in Venezuela?
So I've heard a couple of things. One, that I was kept out of the planning for the Venezuela operation, that's false. And another, that Tulsi was kept out of the planning for Venezuela operations, that's completely false. Look, we're all part of the same team. And one of the things that is really amazing about that operation is that we kept it very tight to the senior cabinet level officials and related officials in our government. and we kept this operation secret for a very long time. I'm very proud of that. I think it suggests that the team works very well together. Well, looking ahead, what is my role? Look, my role is going to be whatever the president asks me to do.
Has he asked you to do something yet?
Well, every other day, I'm chairing the meeting that we do on this among White House principals to talk about next steps to try to ensure that Venezuela is stable, and as the president has directed us to do, to ensure that the new Venezuelan government actually listens to the United States and does what the United States needs it to do under our country's best interest. So I'm going to be as involved as the president wants me to be. So far, that's been very involved, and I'll keep on doing that so long as the president asks me to do it.
I think what Trump has done has gone to not just anyone that comes after Maduro, but also in other countries, like you mentioned, where the drugs come from, Colombia. He's also talked about Cuba. I think dictators, they don't talk soft policy, they don't talk economic deals, but they do talk, hey, if you are mean to me in the dead of night, I'm coming for you. And then now there's proof of concept on that. It does happen, and it could happen again. And, we're speaking in pure conjecture here, but there is a possibility that the vice president who has taken over from Maduro was kind of in on it in the lead up, might have even been providing Trump with some information. I wonder if that person also knows where the bread is buttered now. But I want to talk about America first, right? Because Trump is getting criticism from his base that it's the strike on Iran. What happened to the idea that the world is just, why would we care about what's happening in Venezuela? Why would we care about what's happening in Iran and Israel when there's poverty at home? What happened to America first? And I think America first kind of gets a bit, we've got it wrong in the sense that America First isn't itself an isolationist policy. America First is more, how does America benefit the most in any particular decision? So if it is striking Iran, it's not a matter of we're getting involved in intervention. It's that America will be better than it was 24 hours ago if we do this. Same thing with Maduro gone. So is this in itself an America First policy? Is America better off now that Maduro's out of there?
Well, you've got to think about it. Look, America First, like all of these policies, James, means different things to different people. If you perceive America First to be an aggressively isolationist policy, which is we do not want to get involved with anything that is going on in the world. We do not want to get involved in the Middle East. We certainly don't want to get involved in Venezuela. This has nothing to do with us. We want to prioritize our people, our country. Then you would say that this contravenes America First. If America First to you means that you prioritize what is good for America, in inverted commas, and what is good for America can mean different things to different people, then perhaps it is. Because you've got to think of it like this. Trump says that they are now going to run Venezuela for the foreseeable. They are now going to get the oil pumping again. They are now going to ensure that trillions of dollars will now be siphoned off to America, or billions of dollars will now be siphoned off to America. That will help the American economy. That will help American companies. That will help the stock market. Is that not America First? Because really all they had to do was one relatively, although highly skillful operation, and they've got rid of Maduro, and now they've got access to all of these resources. Whilst not forgetting as well that people always talk about the oil in Venezuela, and so they should, largest oil reserves in the world. But it's not just the oil. It's the fact that we've got gold. It's the fact that we've got natural gas reserves, and we've got huge deposits of natural minerals. All of these things can be mined, and they are all highly lucrative industries, particularly for the oil companies. Trump has actually said himself that he had a meeting with the execs of all the big oil companies in order to start going into Venezuela and start exploiting the oil. So like all of these things, James, it depends how you look at it. But I'm going to be telling you quite honestly, I don't think Delcy Rodriguez, the current president of Venezuela, is going to be messing around with Donald Trump, because she saw what happened to her boss. She saw what happened to her boss and her boss's wife. And Trump has been very, very clear and direct with her. If you try any type of shenanigans with me, the same thing is going to happen to you. So she is under no illusions when it comes to that. In fact, there is a rumor, and I need to make this absolutely clear. This is conjecture. This is a rumor. But there is a rumor in Venezuela that she was in on this because all of the top dogs in Maduro's cabinet all had bounties on their head placed there by the American government, apart from Delcy Rodriguez and her brother, who was head of the Senate. Now, why is that? Why are they the only two people who didn't have that? So the rumors are that she was in on it from the start, which is why she was ushered into power, and not Corina Machado, who is rightly seen by many Venezuelans as the de facto leader of the country. In fact, Trump has actually said that she is a nice lady, but she doesn't have the respect of the country. And what many people interpret that by that is that she doesn't have the respect of the military. So, to go back to America first, if you think America first means absolutely no intervention, we focus on our country and our country alone, then this is a complete abandonment of your policy and your election pledges. If you think America first means doing what's right by America, including the economics of it, then actually maybe this is America first.